Hi, this is Matt with Multiversity Comics. I'm here with wonderful J.H. Williams III.
Hello.
And first I want to say absolute congratulations on the Eisner nomination. It's well deserved too. And the was it the GLAAD Award on the Detective Comics?
Yeah, that was really exciting too. That was very exciting to get that acknowledgement. Makes us feel like we were doing things right. You know?
We definitely were. I think the interesting thing about Detective Comics is in the advent of the whole Batman arc, the Battle for the Cowl. Detective Comics was given to you and Greg Rucka with this relatively new character. She'd just been invented in '52, and here you come in and create easily like one of the best stories in recent Detective Comics history. Well, how's that been for you?
Oh, extremely exciting and gratifying. We put a lot of thought into it, and really wanted to put our best foot forward and create something that we felt could be a classic story that people could come back to and read time and time again and feel satisfied with. So.
And the art definitely is a huge part of that, because the way that you handle your pages and that's so interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about your process when
I guess I'll kind of go through the way a whole issue would work out, very loosely. Greg would have ideas for what he wanted to be in a certain issue, and he would talk to me on the phone about, like, this has to happen and this has to happen, and then we would discuss, visual ways to present that, because he knew that I didn't want to do things in an orthodox manner. And so we would go back and forth about that, and then we'd be settled on it, and then he would write the script, and then I would do my thing after that. So a lot of times some of the script would say, and this is how we discussed it, stuff like that. And then there's other times where I had my own ideas, or I may have come up with a different idea that might work better than what we discussed, and then I would just move forward and just go for it.
So I guess the unfortunate subject matter is, of course, that Greg Rucka is no longer working with DC anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that the future of Batwoman is very hazy at the moment.
The character, I think, is going to be around. DC's very committed to the character. Not much more I can really say about it other than that. Besides, it's very disappointing that Greg felt like he needed to move on and do something else. I was really hoping he would stick around at least through our original plans, but he just he couldn't do it, which is fine. That's what he's got to do. I love Greg and support him in whatever his decisions he makes, and I just wish we could have proceeded forward. But
I'm guessing with the last issue that you did of Detective Comics, it really seemed like you guys had planned for the long term. And I remember hearing rumors that there was supposedly going to be like a spin-off series, just Batwoman, and not part of Detective Comics.
That ended up being the plan. The original plan was for us to just be Batwoman independently, but then they decided to put us in Detective Comics, and we're like, okay, great, that's where we're going to be. And the original run was supposed to be for 12 issues, and we knew pretty much what story we wanted to tell up till that end. And then about part of the way working through the Ghost story arc, they told us that they wanted to get a Batwoman #1, that they wanted to go for a regular series, and that they wanted to move us over. And so Greg and I had to figure out a way to come up with a new #1 to be kind of like an inserted chapter that didn't exist. We had talked it over and came up with a really great #1, and it would have made it to where the amount of work being done would have been close to another 7 issues instead of 5 to finish up the run. But then he decided that he just needed to move on and do something else. So it all kind of fell apart at the end there.
Well, I do hope at some point that the story that you guys started has a resolution, and I really hope that you do get to do the artwork for it, even if he doesn't write it.
Yeah, I would really like for that story to be told. what Greg wanted to do was so specific. I don't feel comfortable in having another artist. I mean, not another artist, another writer write that story. I'm hoping DC will just leave that part of the story alone and let Greg decide. You know, maybe he'll come back in a year or 2 years and want to finish that part of the story. But I think there's room for the character to continue without necessarily addressing those specific plot lines.
Right.
Because the way we ended it, it could go anywhere. You know, that last chapter could go anywhere from there. So hopefully, you know, we'll get to tell that story someday with Greg being able to be the one to write it. I think would be the best situation for that part of the story for sure.
So with future projects now, you have the DC Legacies book, right? You're
Right.
doing one of the stories in there.
Yeah, it's an 8-page short story. The entire series, from what I understand, is being written by Len Wein, and I'm doing an 8-page short story with him on the original Seven Soldiers characters, which I'm almost done with. That turned out to be really fun and different and interesting challenges. It was pretty cool. And I'm doing the variant cover for that issue. And then I'm doing another issue, Jonah Hex, that I've just barely started. So I'm not sure when that'll come out. Hopefully sooner than later. I really enjoy that book a great deal. Jonah Hex was something I did an issue for last year, that came out last year. I've been wanting to do more of her since. You know, I would really like to do an extended story with that character someday. You know, hopefully we'll see if that happens. I think Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray do a fantastic job with that book, so it's one of my favorites.
Outside of Jonah Hex, are there any other books that you'd like to do? They can be in general. You don't have to just say DC.
I don't really have any specific notions in mind other than, you know, hopefully pursuing my own creator-owned ideas. You know, as far as big gun characters, there's tons of great characters out there that would make great stories. And certainly if somebody approached me saying, you know, oh, how about this character? You know, I might not have thought of it, but when they mention it, then I go, oh yeah, that'd be great. You know what I mean? So I keep myself pretty wide open in thinking of what the possibilities are.
Well, I hope to see very more from you soon. And I'd love to have you with another ongoing book. And thanks for talking.
Oh yeah, it was great. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. I don't have a sign off or anything, but
We're good. We're good.
like cut it.